Awesome. I think let's get started. Maybe just a few things to go through just before we start. So as you know, you're probably muted and your video has been turned off, but feel free to interact throughout the course of this webinar. I've got my colleagues in the chat who's more than knowledgeable and more than willing to answer any of your questions that you might have. So please feel free to ask them. The meeting is being recorded, so if you don't feel comfortable with that, please feel free to drop away. Else just enjoy it with us. And yeah, just enjoy it. Feel free to interact. And if there's anything you're unsure about, feel free to ask questions during the course of it, or we'll have a bit of a Q&A at the end. Yeah. Okay, let's kick it off. So why ranking high on Amazon search is so important. Maybe just a little bit of a step back, just so you all know that you're all in capable hands with myself and Iconic Sales. Just a few key metrics to say who we are, where we're going, what our vision is, what our goals are, and what we currently are. So currently we're comprised of over 50 Amazon experts. We are live in over 10 Amazon marketplaces through vendors and clients. We have 2 locations, which is Stuttgart in Germany and London here in the UK. We have generally a 60 to 80% increase in turnover within the 90 days. And we manage 6.1 million euros within an advertising budget. One of our unique USPs is we can automate videos within pretty much a blink of an eye, a few days. So as you can see, 40,000 product videos created in a few days. It's an amazing thing. So get in touch if you'd like to cover any of these things. But this also points to why over 200 companies trust us worldwide, and over 9 out of 10 customers will recommend Iconic Sales to others. We're also a verified partner with Amazon and Bidex, so you're in good hands with us. Some of these brands know and trust us. These are some of the references. Some of these brands have been with us for years. Some of them are better well-known here in the UK, but some of them are more European and more international. Some of the likes of SlimFast, Tony and Guy, Gustafix, Nikki, and German Elite Nutrition, which are all leaders within their fields. Iconic's also won several awards in the past, and many more to come in the future, no doubt. So previously last year, we won the German Web Awards. We were the overall winner. There were over 2,000 agencies in contention, and we managed to come out on top with the #1 poll spot. We've also won the Deutsche Agentur Press Awards, and we've also got the German Brand Award nominee. So I don't want to give too much away, but we are in the final runnings for that, and it's looking good. That's all I can say. So maybe let's just get into it. Why are you all here today? The Amazon webinar. So why ranking high on Amazon search is important. Let's maybe just go through some of the agenda that we'll be covering through it today. So how a top placement on Amazon supports your business, what the Amazon algorithm does and how your Amazon product is ranked, how to optimize your product to get better placements on Amazon, how to improve your search engine optimization on Amazon, how to grow your sales rank, and how to get better customer reviews and successfully run product-specific ads. So diving right in, why top of search is important for your business, how to get to the top. We all sort of know the rough part of, okay, being on top is always the winner, but how do you get on top and what's the sort of inputs to get there? So we've identified several inputs. This list is, depending on how granular you want to go and how deep you want to go, you can make it longer, you can make it shorter into overall themes, but we've identified these common themes on why growing your Amazon business is important and why being on top is important. So #1, I think first and foremost, is visibility equals success. If you're in front of the customer, if you're in front of mind, if you have good brand recall and customers know your brand, they know and they trust you, that's already half the mission done. You don't really need to put as much into advertising or as much sort of into marketing to get to the customer's mind. If you have that good brand recall, your visibility is there, you will equal success. Ranking high on sales for Amazon, not to say that the best sales driver is the best product or it has the most reviews and ratings. It might have a competitive price. It might serve a need within a current situation or climate within the market or an environment. So a high sales rank will drive your sales and really put your product to the top of the search page and be able to identify, easily identified by customers, be able to get those purchases in as and when you need them. Brand awareness On and off Amazon is an important thing. Obviously, on Amazon is important. Having good content, having good A+, having good images, having good copy text. They're all important things, but also building brand awareness off of Amazon. Do you have a social presence? Do you have a bricks and mortar presence? Do you have an online store yourself that you can drive traffic from? All these things to build brand awareness and brand recall are important aspects to really get your brand to the top, even inherently being in the customer's mind, even though they may not be searching for you initially. If they can recall your name and recall that you solved the need previously, or that you could solve the need depending on what they've seen presently, that's what's going to drive the brand awareness, and that's what's going to drive the sales. Number 4 is Amazon's Choice. So Amazon's Choice badge is quite a prestigious thing. It might fluctuate between products and sellers, but generally it's the best in class product within that category or that subcategory. So it's got the highest sales, it's got good content, it's got good sales volume, good sales turn, good stock levels also, and pretty much most customers enjoy it and use it. So it'll get an Amazon's Choice badge, and having that Amazon's Choice badge really just cements the trust between the customer, the seller or vendor, and Amazon itself. So strive for the Amazon's Choice badge, and that's really going to propel your sales to the next level and the visibility to the next level also. Number 5, I think this goes without saying, is determine your competition. If you don't know who your competition is, how will you be able to compete? See who the best in class category leader is, who's the winner in the market, who's sort of the North Star that your company is striving towards or your account is striving towards. See what they do good, what you enjoy about them, and replicate that to your accounts. Do testing and learning, but definitely do a market analysis and determine who your competition is and strive towards beating them or aligning yourself with them to steal some of their market share away. Number 6 is a pricing strategy. I think it goes without saying that if something's too expensive and it doesn't solve a need, or it's not high quality, no one will really buy it. So make sure your pricing justifies the means, it justifies the quality, it justifies the labor and the love that's gone into your product. Don't overprice, don't underprice, because overpricing, customers won't buy into it. They'll think you're just taking chances to try and make extra money. And if you price it too low, customers might have the idea that it's an inferior product. It's got low sort of input materials. It's going to break quite easily. It's not going to solve much of a need. So do your market research and develop quite a robust and competitive pricing strategy on and off promotion also. And then number 7 is SEO and advertising. If you don't have good copy text, you don't have good wording, you don't have good titles, you don't have good descriptions or bullet points, how is the customer essentially going to find you? How will they know what they're looking for at a glance? Customers don't really want to look and scour through detailed pages. They want to have a glance and be able to see what they're getting. So make sure your titles stand out, they're informative, they're to the point, and that'll also be able to drive your conversion. And once you drive conversion and sales, it grows your sales rank. Advertising also metrics. So doing aggressive advertising, doing defensive advertising against competitors, all falls into the play of sales ranking and driving sales and ultimately increasing your visibility on the Amazon page. What's the algorithm and how does it work? So everyone's probably heard about the famous algorithm on Amazon that Jeff did and the business model that Jeff Bezos developed on the napkin. But what is the algorithm and how does it essentially work? So some of the things that feed into the algorithm is accurate and honest info. If you lie to the customer or you give misleading information about your product and you sell it, the reviews will say that, the returns rates will say that, and Amazon will pick it up and your account health will go down the drain. Essentially, be honest with the customer, be accurate with your information, especially if you're doing consumable products or wearable products that might cause harm to customers. Be honest and open and accurate with them within age ranges, within skin types, within pretty much any usage instructions. Just be honest and accurate with it. Provide targeted information. Make sure you're reaching your target market. Don't just give random keywords. Don't just give random phrases that you think might be sort of typed by the customer. Do your research, look at your business intelligence software, something such as Helium 10, and look at your sort of titles, look at your descriptions, look at your wording, and really provide targeted information to the customers that are searching for your products. Don't go for the shotgun effect and try and get whoever you can. Be really targeted with your advertising, be really targeted with your wording, because you have to stay within character limits. It's not just a be all and end all. Be strategic, be targeted, and adapt also where needed. Continually feed the algorithm. It's not just a fire and forget method. Once you create ASINs and product images and text, and that's it, everyone's happy. It's a continually evolving beast. So make sure you do promotions, you do different advertising methods during different seasons, such as during Christmas versus during the middle of the year where it might be a little bit more quiet. Adapt your algorithm inputs depending on seasonality, depending on buying trends, depending on your stock forecasts. Make sure you continually feed the algorithm, because if the algorithm stops or you don't meet certain thresholds or guidelines within Amazon and they delist your ASINs, that's the algorithm put on pause, and that's sales lost, that's sales ranking lost, and that's visibility lost. So it's got a detrimental knock-on effect. So make sure to feed the algorithm with honest and accurate information. Refine the inputs that also go into the algorithm. Make sure the inputs that you're giving are really business specific, really customer specific, really customer orientated and customer health orientated, especially if they're consumable products. Really refine those inputs. Ask yourself, is this relevant to the customer, what I'm putting in the title? If you're selling protein powder, for example, refine the inputs. If a customer is looking for protein powder, are they looking for milk whey? Are they looking for hemp whey, pea whey, vegan protein? Really refine those inputs to get your target market, and those conversions and that visibility will come. Reviews and ratings, something we'll touch on a little bit later in this webinar, but reviews and ratings are important. If you see positive reviews and ratings and a good number of them, you can know that that product's quite trustworthy. You know, when you're investing your money into that product, the return you're going to get or that you're expecting is the one that you really are needing. So if you're buying a skincare product to treat a certain ailment, such as dry skin, you know your skin's going to be dry afterwards, for example. Make sure that the reviews and the ratings on your products are honest, accurate, and positive from the customer. Give a good product, give a high quality product, and any issues that do come from it, fix it as quickly as you can. Brand recall. As mentioned, brand recall is just as important off of Amazon as it is on Amazon. If customers know and trust your brand, they'll go to Amazon to search for it. Amazon is arguably the second biggest search engine in the world after Google, especially if you have purchasing intent. Most customers will go to Amazon, even if they look for a generalized product. But if they have your brand or your sort of logo or your trademark slogan in mind, they'll go directly to your product. So brand recall is a big focus, especially on visibility on Amazon. Focus on your sales ranking is another one. Sales ranking determines your spot within the category or within the subcategory. So make sure you focus on your sales ranking. Ways to drive sales ranking will be covered later on the webinar, but key inputs include sort of promotions, pricing fluctuations, marketing aspects, but there's literally just to name a few. Make sure you focus on your sales ranking. Always aim for number one. The closer you get to number one, once you attain number one, that comes with a lot of benefits, such as increased sales, but also Amazon's choice badges, which is ultimately what you'd like long-term to convert those sales and those customers. And then react to pricing changes also. Customers don't want to feel like they've been hard done by on a deal. Be strategic with your deals. Don't drop them off by 50%, because if a customer buys a product today and they see it on deal tomorrow for 50% off, they might be disheartened. They might not trust your brand again, and it might not lead to future conversions and long-term growth. So adapt to pricing changes, be quite generous with your discounts, but don't tank your own business or your own brand image. Any good pricing changes will drive you up the algorithm, because essentially it means more conversion, more sales, more visibility, especially if you use coupons and promotions to drive that visibility. Better ways to optimize your product detail pages and optimize your products for better placement. There's a few key things, but if you're not practicing them, then essentially everything else that you do is null and void. So some of the key things to remember here are keyword-rich titles. If you can see the titles at a glance and they're informative, they're educational, and they're descriptive at a glance, customers will be more interested in that detail page, and there's a better chance to lead to a conversion because the customer isn't looking for that information. So make sure it's keyword-rich titles that are easily identifiable and easily educational at a glance. Bullet points and description, this goes without saying. Make use of all the characters that come through within the bullet points and description that Amazon give you. Really refine those SEO keywords, really refine those descriptions, tell your product story, identify your target market, and solve that problem through your bullet points and descriptions by telling the customer essentially what your product does, how it'll help them, and any other pertinent information around it. Is it cruelty-free? Is it vegan? Is it made from renewable resources? Really educate the customer, and that's going to increase your conversion, ultimately your sales ranking, and ultimately your visibility on Amazon's page also. Advertising goes without saying. You need to do aggressive advertising. You need to do defensive advertising also. Without either or, you're not going to get too far. You'll only be able to get to a certain point with organic sales, but then you're going to need to start being a bit aggressive to start taking out your competitors. You need to be able to identify which of your competitors are sort of leading the market, how they're leading the market, why they're leading the market, and develop strategies to take them down. Reviews and ratings. As mentioned, if your product is known and trusted by lots of people, it has good brand recall, it's got a high sort of close to as 5 stars possible ranking with really positive reviews and ratings, then you know it's going to make sales, because Amazon raises the products higher on the detail page that have better sales, but also high product reviews and ratings, because they know it continually builds customer trust, which is one of the key pillars of Amazon, is customer trust. Seller rank and pricing, as mentioned, seller rank and pricing can be impacted by numerous things that sort of go hand in hand to drive the sales. If you don't have good SEO, customers won't be able to find your product. If they don't find your product, you're not going to increase sales. So it's quite a knock-on effect. So make sure you focus deeply on your pricing and your seller rank and all the inputs that go along with that. Are you spending too much on marketing budget? Reel some of that back and put it into promotional spend, for example, and really drive extra conversion that way. Focus your pricing, focus your seller ranking, and I promise you that's going to drive conversion, it's going to drive visibility, and it's going to grow your business quicker than anything else. And parent and child products. This is something that's really underrepresented and really not spoken about as much as it should. Parent-child relationships. Ultimately, if you have a really strong parent ASIN, put those into variations with child where possible, where it makes sense, whether it's a smell variation, whether it's a size variation, whether it's a color variation, put it into variations, because they share reviews and ratings. If they're independent products, they do not share reviews and ratings. So if you'd like to sort of hack and cheat the system, if I can say it like that, put them in variations where it makes sense and make them share those reviews and ratings, and almost hack your way to the top by sort of relying on one hero parent ASIN. How to improve your search engine optimization to climb to the top. So keyword research, as mentioned, use tools to identify what customers are searching for. Take seasonality into account also. For example, during Christmas time, or during winter time, or during summertime, or during New Year's, search terms are going to be radically different compared to in the middle of the year, or before people's birthdays, or before other key events such as Valentine's Day or Mother's Day or Father's Day. So take seasons into account, take events into account, take holidays into account also, and adapt your keywords, your back-end keywords and your advertising keywords to those sort of events and times. Meta tag your images when you're uploading your A+ content or your product images. Meta tag it in the back end. You can do a few characters just to meta tag essentially what the image is, and this also feeds into the algorithm. If you're a bit unsure how to do it, reach out after this meeting, and we can set up after this webinar, and we can set up a meeting and we can discuss it a little bit deeper. Number 3, as mentioned, consider the seasons. Don't just fire and forget your ASINs, forget about the keywords and just sort of continue as normal. Really refine them depending on the season, depending on summertime, wintertime, Christmas time, New Year's. Is your product seasonable? Make sure you adapt those keywords to that, and you'll see your sales rank climb and ultimately your visibility climb also. Informative text, as mentioned, if customers can see your product at a glance, what it is, what the size is, what the benefits is, what the dosage is, how long it will last, they're going to be more inclined to buy it, because they don't actually need to go and search for the benefits and search for what they're looking for. So provide informative text that's easily identifiable at a glance, really educational to the customer, and really just tells them essentially what the product is, what the benefits are, and what comes with buying this product. Back-end keywords, your generic keywords, that sort of goes hand in hand with keyword research. Make sure that your back-end keywords are relevant. Don't just put them in when creating the ASIN and forget about them. Readopt them. If an ASIN's not selling or converting well, despite whatever you do, maybe look at the keywords and refine them and really ask yourself, is this what the customer is searching for? Is this what the sort of product says it is. If it's not, then I think you need to refine those keywords even further and drive those conversions. Number 6 is customer thinking. So you need to put your shoes on, well, you need to put the customer shoes on and think what they think and be able to put yourself into their mind and basically identify what they'll be typing into the Amazon search bar. Don't just put in generic one-worded terms, put in sort of longer terms. For example, if someone's trying to buy protein powder again, type in the term muscle building powder, not just protein, for example. Make it a bit more of a longer chain theme. If you were the customer, what would you type into the search bar? Not just one word, whether it's a few words or a phrase or a small sentence, for example. Really adapt your descriptions, your bullet points, your titles to an extent where you can, but just really think customer centrically and think, what would the customer be looking for if they were looking at my detail page? And then seller and brand name. Make sure that your seller and brand name, especially your account house, is top level. Any bad negative customer reviews, stay on top of it, sort of make it right, get those reviews into a positive change. And then also take criticism. If customers aren't happy with anything to do with your brand or any of your products, take it as a learning curve, change it, and come out ultimately positively on top. Don't just forget about it, because customers don't forget about it. So seller and brand name is an important thing, and it goes hand in hand with brand recognition, brand image, product recall, and ultimately sales conversion and visibility on site as well. How to grow your sales rank on Amazon. As mentioned, the sales rank is the point in the category where you stand or your product stands within that sort of category or within that subcategory compared to the competitors within that category or subcategory. So focus on sales velocity. There are numerous ways to increase sales velocity. Be quite cautious with pricing, because you can't really change RRP, but you can do promotions, you can do coupons, you can do buy one, get one frees with certain metrics. So focus on your sales velocity and try and drive the sales velocity to increase the amount of turnover you get in a day and a week, and that'll increase your sales rank within that category and subcategory. Focus on your current and your historic pricing. Don't fluctuate prices sort of willy-nilly. Don't drop your prices during slow periods, and don't ramp them up during high periods. Be quite consistent with your pricing and use other metrics such as promotions, like in coupons, to really focus on your pricing metrics. You want to give customers sort of, if I can sort of say it, average level pricing or a band of pricing. Customers don't want to feel hard done by if they go into another store and they see your product for half price, but they go onto Amazon and it's 2 times the price. So focus on your current and your historic pricing on and off site also, and make sure it's quite aligned across the field. Number 3 is focus on high quality content. If you don't have high quality content, good copy text, good images, good A+ content, good videos, you're not going to climb the sales rank. You're not going to be informing the customer what the product does, what benefits it brings, and ultimately the customer is going to choose to invest in your competitors. That does give them a feeling of, oh, I'm buying this and I'm going to get a certain benefit out of it. So focus on high quality content. Make sure that your images meet the thresholds, that they're zoomable, that you have videos, you have lifestyle imagery, you have all the good things to drive that extra conversion, that extra customer trust, and just really keep your brand image to the best degree possible. Brand identification, a big thing to focus on. Do you have bricks and mortar retailers? Do you have third-party sellers? Do you have your own web store? Especially third-party sellers, make sure you keep it consistent with them. If they sell your products at a really low margin, or they have really bad product pages, or they have really bad physical stores, that's going to assimilate with bad brand identification. So make sure you keep your brand to a high degree, you keep your product images to a high degree, you keep your customer service to a high degree, and ultimately you're going to build that brand identification. And when customers go onto Amazon, they're going to easily recognize your brand, be able to buy it, or they're going to go searching for your brand because they know the benefits of using your brand. So brand identification is a really important thing on and off Amazon as well. Number 5 is promotions and coupons. It's a nice way to drive the algorithm. It goes hand in hand with number 2, where you focus on your pricing. So it's a nice little cheat way to sort of drive your way up the search rankings by increasing sales velocity, but also increase sort of customer retention and customer buy-in, because customers that previously might not have bought your product due to pricing restrictions are now maybe a bit more inclined to do it because of the lower price and positive reviews that have come with your product. So promotions and coupons is always an experiment to do. We focus doing it on peak periods if you can, but if can't, during sort of low periods, just provide coupons and provide percentage offs just to continually drive their sales, continually drive awareness, and just continually get buy-in from customers. Number 6 is PPC and DSP advertising. Advertising should be basic fundamentals within every Amazon account, but this is a real good way to drive your sales rank because it goes hand in hand with sales conversion. If you can really advertise your products ahead of your competitors, you have robust content, you have good pricing, you maybe have a promotion running, that's really going to increase the conversion. It's going to increase the number of sales. It's going to increase the amount of visibility your product has. And then ultimately that's going to knock down into your sales rank, which is just going to increase. Once you get to number 1, you get the Amazon's Choice badge, and it's just sort of a self-fulfilling cycle that you should always continue. So PPC and DSP advertising are the fundamentals of most Amazon pages and a way of driving sales just through visibility. And arguably one of the most important parts is customer reviews and product-specific ads. The number 1 pillar, as mentioned by Amazon, is being customer-centric. Amazon's slogan and goal is to be the most customer-centric organization in the world. And it really shows if your product's on customer-centric, your pricing isn't customer-centric, you have misleading or sort of disinforming type titles or descriptions, Amazon takes that very seriously and they will delist you. So focus, number 1, on various good reviews. Another way to do that is through Amazon Vine. That leads into number 2, which is the only legitimate way to get reviews and ratings through Amazon. There are other black hat ways to do it, but if Amazon finds out that you've done it, you will be barred from Amazon and no chance to create an account again. So it's not worth it. Just go through the Amazon Vine program. It's a legitimate way to do it. But word of caution, it isn't to say that if you do it, the reviews will be positive. You still need to provide a good product service, high quality packaging or product inputs or whatever it is. You still need to provide a good product to the Vine reviewers to get a positive review. So various and good reviews is important. 1 or 2 reviews might not sell the customer, but a few hundred positive reviews definitely will. That moves nicely into product specific ads. Be able to tailor your ads specifically to the customer needs. Don't just blank fire auto ads out and hopefully that they'll get some traction. Really refine your ads depending on the season, depending on the target market you're going for, the type of product you're trying to send, and also if you're doing defensive or aggressive advertising tactics. Defensive is fighting off your competitors. Aggressive is basically attacking your competitors to try and get market share from them. So create product specific ads and really drive your sales through identifying who your customers are, what their needs are, and being sort of first and foremost in front of them on the Amazon site, which also leads into number 4, such as target your customers. So really know who your target market is, really know who your customers are, what they're looking for, and what the sort of pain points are, and provide that solution, provide the answer to that solution through your title, through your description, through your bullet points, even before the customer receives the product. And then when they receive the product, it's really just going to seal the deal to make sure that you are a trusted and reputable brand, if I can say it like that, in the customer's eyes. Test and learn. Don't be afraid to fail. Amazon's all about testing and learning, especially during seasonal times, during different promotion times. There are different promotional metrics and mechanics you can try also. So don't be afraid to test and learn and really see what works for your brand, what works for your category. Some categories might be better than others when it comes to promotions, or people might be more inclined to buy them during Christmas time, big electronics, for example. But really test and learn what works for you, what works for your category, and don't be afraid to fail. Take seasonality into account. Put in promotions during Christmas time where people are feeling more festive, they're more willing to buy, especially if your product's more gifting focused, more family oriented, more friend oriented, more social orientated. Take seasonality into account and really tailor your advertising budgets to it, tailor your promotional spend to it, and make sure you have a little bit of extra money in case anything does go wrong during the season. Really know who your customer is, when they're buying it, what their needs are, and how you can fulfill those needs again. It always takes seasonality into account. And negative reviews, no one wants to hear any negative reviews, but they do happen. Life is life, and some people you just can't serve them with your product, so it happens. You will get negative reviews. Respond to those negative reviews if you can through your Seller Central account or through Vendor Central, through your vendor manager, but really try and fix it and make it right with the customer. If you can't fulfill those negative reviews with any way to sort of make it positive, or just an apology or a noted thank you very much for your input, we'll do better next time, it just shows the customers that you care, that you really care about their input, and that you're willing to change your business and adapt to it also depending on the needs. So take negative reviews as a learning factor. Don't take it as a negative. Don't take it personally, but take it as a learning factor and really identify, are these true negative reviews based on my business model, based on my customer service, based on my product, based on my description that might be misinforming or misleading, or is it just generally a negative review because it didn't fit what that customer was looking for, and no burden of your own. And then number 8 again is price changes. No customer wants to go to a bricks and mortar store and pay 50% of the price that Amazon is asking for the exact same product. So make sure that pricing changes are taken into account. If you do any promotions with any big retailers or any third-party retailers, really think about how that's going to impact your Amazon listings, your Amazon turnover, and your Amazon customer experience. If you have a good customer count on a certain product, it might not even be worth doing promotions in other retailers. So really focus on those pricing changes and make sure that you give the customer what they pay for, all within a reasonable price, and you just keep it consistent along market to market. And that sort of takes us towards the end of our webinar. If you have any questions, I'll look at the chat now if my colleague do have any that they haven't managed to answer, but if there are any extra ones, please get in touch. These are my details. That is my phone, and also drop us an email if you do want to get into sort of know me, or you give any recommendations on future webinars, or if you really just enjoyed today and really learned something and just want to say good job done, let me know. And what are the next steps? So we have a few exciting webinars coming up. We also have previous ones, so brand registry solutions. I hope you guys can check that one out if you're having problems with brand registry, but we've also got quite a few webinars planned within the coming weeks and months. So I'm really excited for those, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all. We're also taking recommendations. If there are any webinars you'd like to see in the future, feel free to reach out, let us know. We can create bespoke ones, we can create individualized ones, or we can just set up a personal call and discuss any issues you might have. So we don't even have to create a webinar for it. So just let us know. We also have our ebooks. If listening and seeing isn't really your thing and you just prefer reading, and you don't really want to see me again on a webinar, then here is our ebooks. So they're fully downloadable, really informative, really interesting, and they cover all the aspects and parts of Amazon, including advertising, content, different kinds of marketing aspects, promotional mechanics. So really informative, and we encourage you guys to please download those. And yep, I'll have a look now if there's any questions which have come through on the chat. Excellent. If anyone does have any questions, just feel free to unmute yourself and let us know now. But if you are a bit shy, feel free to send a mail. You will be receiving these slides afterwards, and you will be receiving a copy of this recording afterwards as well, with all my details. So if you do feel better reaching out that way, feel free to, and I'd be happy to get back to you. Excellent. Cool. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Really hope you enjoyed as much as we did. We'll be in touch soon with the next one. And yeah, hope you'll enjoy your day, and thanks again for all your time.